Let's discuss with two men who understand the politics and the policy very well. Stephen Moore literally wrote the book on Trumponomics, and the man who coined the phrase, "It's the economy, stupid," James Carville. All right, so Stephen Moore is going to zoom back in. Jimmy, it's just you and me right now.
Okay.
What is the opportunity for Democrats with Trump coming here? He's got Musk looking for what to cut all over the place, but his own tax cuts will not be paid for in his budget proposal. Where's the opportunity?
Well, first of all, it's not 4 trillion, it's 4.6 trillion, according to the call, at $600 billion. So just that. Also, the subsidies for Obamacare, which people depend on, are going to be coming up. I don't have the exact numerical figure on that, but it's pretty astronomical. Then Musk says he's going to cut $1 trillion unspecified dollars from the deficit.
Right.
Is that after or before the tax cuts? I don't know. Plus, we have to extend the debt limit sometimes in April, and there's not going to be any Democratic votes for that. There's a now one-vote majority in the House of Representatives. And I think what the Democrats honestly should do is just sit back and do their knitting. I think this is all, and by the way, I would point out to people who talk about the economy, in this century, 50 million jobs have been created under Democratic administrations, 1 million under Republican. That's 50 million to 1. Maybe that doesn't count, but I'll just wait and do my knitting and see where they come up with 4.5.6. Probably add another $500 billion for the Obama. Obama subsidies.
Jimmy, while you knit one pearl too, let me bring in Stephen Moore here and ask what he thinks of the proposal. Look, I get Trump wanting to say, I'm going to leave the sacred cows of Medicaid and Social Security alone, but you got to give to get. And are the Republicans wrong, Stephen, to say to Trump, you got to cut more if you want to extend these tax cuts?
Well, first of all, Chris, thanks for having me on again. And I'm a big fan of Jim. I'm a big fan of Jim Carville's, but I disagree with them on this because, you know, that you mentioned that $4.6 trillion number. That is total hocus pocus. These were the same numbers that the CBO gave us 6-7 years ago when we wrote the tax bill in the first place. And it turns out the revenues have come in higher over the last 6 to 7 years than they said they would come in if we hadn't done the tax cut at all. What am I saying? I'm saying that there was no revenue loss. There was no revenue loss to that tax bill. So since the CBO has been wrong
because of the pandemic spending,
why would we believe
the CBO
them now?
wasn't wrong. The CBO wasn't wrong. It was the pandemic spending that you're using to pad your numbers.
No, I'm talking about the revenues. The tax revenues came in higher, much higher than expected. And the reason they came in higher than expected, Chris, is because we provided a shot to the economy. We cannot go forward if we don't extend this tax cut. Every single family, even the average income family, is going to face a $3,000 tax increase. That's not something you want to see or I want to see or Donald Trump wants to see.
No, but he's got to pay for it. And again, look, the CBO said it was going to be 190, the deficit. It wound up being more than that. So, look, the CBO is good at what they do. You guys are all the same. When it works for you, you love them. When they don't work for you, you attack them. But my point is, if you want the tax cuts, what Republican doesn't pay for their tax cuts? This one, I guess.
Well, I'll go back to, you know, when John F. Kennedy cut taxes, when Reagan cut taxes, when Trump's cut taxes. Every time that's happened, we've had a strong economy. The best way to get revenues into the economy is to get people working, businesses profitable, capital coming in the United States, and that's what happened. In fact, if it hadn't been for COVID...
Depends what the businesses do with the money. Depends what they do with the money. Let me bring Jimmy back in. Jimmy, you're saying that you guys created 50 million jobs to 1. Stephen is saying cutting taxes is the way to do it. What's your take on his take?
I don't know. I know history, okay? I was there in '93. And the Clinton tax increases were going to destroy jobs. You know how many jobs were created during the Clinton administration after they raised taxes? I do. 22 million. 22 million jobs. The idea that tax cuts create prosperity is just, it defies common sense. And, you know, again, I don't know, the CBO, the BEO, the BOD, or anything else. I know facts. I know there's 50 million jobs have been created in this century by Democrats, 1 billion by Republicans. I know Clinton raised taxes and 22 million jobs. 22 million.
Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.